Good morning. Welcome to a fresh week. We have 5 days to do business once again, and we are starting it off here, Business Morning on Sunrise Daily. I'm Ini John Bekwa. We normally would start from the global space before we head home. So we tell you about oil prices. It extended losses on Monday because of signs of weak fuel demand and comments from the United States Federal Reserve officials that dampened hopes of interest rate cuts, which could slow growth and crimp fuel demand in the world's biggest economy, that's the United States. When we look at the numbers, we see that caught in a 0.3% color in red, and that's a down from $83 that we closed with on Friday to $82.54 a barrel. That's for Brent. WTI off the United States is 0.2% down, $78.07 a barrel. And both benchmarks settled about $1 lower on Friday as Fed officials debated whether the United States interest rates are high enough to bring inflation back to 2%, offsetting gains earlier in the week. Refiners globally are struggling with slumping profits for diesel as new refineries boost supplies, as well as the mild weather in Northern Hemisphere and slow economic activity. They both meet and hit demand, and that, of course, will reduce demand for oil. So the markets remain supported by expectations that the Organization for Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies as OPEC Plus could extend supply cuts. That could boost and change this color into green if there's, that threat to supply. Iraq, which is the second largest OPEC producer, is committed to voluntary oil production cuts agreed by OPEC Plus and is keen to cooperate with member countries on efforts to achieve more stability in global oil markets. And its oil minister did confirm this yesterday, Sunday. And then we come home to look at the Naira. It's still a negative sentiment around the Naira. Seems a lot has not been done about supply of FX into the market. So we see that continuous depreciation. This is Friday's close. So this is the opening for today, Monday. The Naira closed at 1,466 Naira, 31 kobo on NAFEM. That's the most traded market. It opened on Friday morning at 1,459 Naira, 73 kobo. For NAFEX, which follows this but not active as NAFEM, we saw it close at 1,455 Naira, 51 kobo after it lost more than 2% on NAFEX. Unfortunately, it does seem there's an anticipation of intervention from the central bank that might change the number, but from experience we've seen that does not keep the number in the positive light. It's only for a short while. So we still have to deal with the root of the problem when it comes to the value of Naira in the country. And from there we go, still staying with central bank commercial lending to governments from the central bank. Data from the central bank shows that it dropped a whole lot, 73.18% to 19.59 trillion Naira in March. And it's coming all the way from 33.93 trillion Naira in the previous month. Government credit stood at 23.52 trillion Naira in January. Financial analysts have attributed this to a rekindled interest in the fixed income market in March. We always tell you about activities in the fixed income market on our business programs. The Debt Management Office revealed that the federal government gathered a total of about 11 trillion Naira from auctions, treasury bills, saving bonds in 4 months. While yields on federal government securities are on the increase, meaning that the government will have to pay more to settle investors, but it's still deemed cheaper than borrowing from banks. So that's the reason for that reduction in borrowings from commercial bank lending to the government. Well, it should be a good thing since it's going to reduce the pressure of debt servicing on the government at the end of the day. Now, last week, there was that big news. A lithium processing plant was commissioned in Nasarawa State with an average capacity to produce about 4,000 metric tons daily in Nasarawa State. A lot of jobs being promised. This is one solid mineral that have been lying wasting for many years in this country. Let's take a look at that report, and then we'll delve into how the production will affect the economy of Nasarawa State and then the country.
A significant milestone in Nigeria's mining sector is recorded as stakeholders gather for the commissioning of Nigeria's first lithium processing plant located in Nasarawa local government area of Nasarawa State, north-central Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu is represented by the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio. He joins the host governor, Abdullahi Sule, Governor Usman Ododo of Kogi State, Minister of Solid Minerals Development, and other stakeholders for the launch of the $100 million plant.
The Senate President of Nigeria.
The Senate President wants the young populace to embrace the application of technology and new initiatives in the mineral sector, especially in lithium battery processing, to propel economic growth and to position the country as a leader in the global clean energy revolution.
For the first time in the history of our technology, we are becoming partners and partakers in the production value chain of this mineral. It is a historic leap because we now have opportunities to know how it is done to ourselves on our own and hone the skills.
As Governor Abdullahi Sule appreciates the federal government and stakeholders for supporting the government to open the state to investors in the mining sector, he calls for local participation.
I am still calling on Nigerians, especially those from Nasarawa State, who can afford, to be able to invest in the mining industry, to please start.
Working to actualize the renewed hope vision in the mining sector, the Solid Minerals Development Minister highlights a 7-point transformation agenda with value addition standing very critical for the ministry to pursue.
May I draw your attention to one of the items on our 7-point agenda, which has resonated beyond the shores of Nigeria, and that is the local value addition policy, which we adopted in the Ministry of Solid Minerals.
Though a maiden edifice in Nigeria, there is plan for expansion as the second phase of the project, which will provide about 4,000 jobs, is underway. The Senate President, flanked by Governor Abdullahi Sule and other stakeholders, commissioned the plant. The lithium processing plant has a 4,000 metric tons daily capacity and 1 million annually. This groundbreaking achievement paves the way for the nation's emergence as a key player in the global lithium market, with Nasarawa State living to its name as Nigeria's home of solid minerals. Halima Agayam, Channel Television News.
That's it. It's a celebrated one. Should be celebrated, obviously, but should be celebrated more when we see the fruits of it. Well, we have to tell us more about that and what to expect. Should I call him the Chief Executive Officer of Nasarawa State? The Governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Abdullahi Sule, joins us virtually from Lafia. Good morning, Governor, and thank you so much for your time this morning.
Good morning so much. I'm happy that you are having me here this morning.
Great. So I guess the very good thing to say at this point would be congratulations on achieving this feat. I know there was a groundbreaking of this last year, and now before the middle of the year, we see that it's being commissioned. And expectations are really high, Engineer Sule, and I hope we won't have to wait for too long to see some of those promised fruits from that plant that has now been commissioned.
Yeah, thank you very much. Congratulations in order, but actually it's a congratulations to a lot of other stakeholders. First and foremost, congratulations to Mr. President, because the federal government now gave us some level of participation. In the past, and I'm saying actually not too long ago, we have had a Ministry of Solid Minerals that will just allocate licenses for minerals prospecting and mining without the participation of the state government. But in Nasarawa State, we decided to come up with an executive order where we say we will not actually frown at any license given to anybody but we are encouraging those who have license to be able to process whatever it is that they are mining in Nasarawa State. This was about 2 years ago. And I'm happy today that we are beginning to see what is going on. The reason why there is a lot of publication and then so much known about this particular one is because of the size of the factory, which is 4,000 metric tons a day. But in reality, I have already commissioned one, in Rogua, which is in the Karu local government, that is already 400 metric tons. There is also another one, in Uke area, which is 1,500 metric tons. So far we have 3 that are working in Nasarawa State as I'm talking to you. And we already have another one, that is purely looking at cobalt and is working also in that area. But all these are much smaller ones. The reason why this one is much is because of the fact that it is a huge size. 4,000 is over 1 million tons a year. And that is the reason why we are seeing this. But yes, you are right. There are a lot of other expectations for us to be able to get there. One is the employment of people. 2, what kind of revenue we are getting from there. Now, let me tell you another benefit we have had from this particular side that a lot of people so far have not realized. When they used to take the sound away, they didn't know exactly what minerals were there. When this factory started, the name of the factory was Landmass Lithium Mining Company. That was the name that we did the groundbreaking with. Now, when they started and then started operation, because the company is already in operation for over a month now. When they started operation and realized that in the process of mining lithium, they are able to get some other metals like nickel, like copper, all part of it. So they changed now the name of the company. So the company we commission is no longer Landmass Lithium Mining Company. It is actually Abatal Minerals Development Company. So because they are now able to say it is not only lithium they are getting other minerals. This is the kind of thing we were losing in Nigeria as a result of all this illegal mining, or some of them calling it artisan mining, and the rest of that, they give it some beautiful names. Any mining operation that is not going to give you some kind of processing to be able to take out what it is that you are doing, what minerals you are getting from there, and separating them with other minerals, then you can see we are losing a lot as a nation.
So, I mean, the issue of adding value to these raw materials is a major one for the country. Unfortunately, a lot of even the little export that we do is of raw materials. What are we getting from these companies? Are we getting, for instance, we know lithium at this point supposed to give batteries, rechargeable batteries for mobile phones, and all of that for electric vehicles. What are we getting from them? Is it just to mine the lithium, or are they adding value into a substance or product that can be used?
Okay, you see, lithium, before it gets to battery, there are 4 processes. Process number 1 is to even go and mine the material, from the ground. So that is a huge operation. In the past, that's what we have always had in Nigeria. People will just take the sand directly and export it. So now this company is carrying out the bigger operation. The bigger operation really is being able to produce the lithium concentrate. This is what they are doing. So they take the sand and they process the sand and be able to extract the concentrate of lithium. That is a major operation. There are lots of jobs that have been doing in that area. And as I told you, there is separation of the various minerals that you can clearly see and now identify this mineral and that mineral. And there is the aspect of technology that our people are now able to learn. When you go there and see the heavy equipment they installed, we now have our own local people that have been employed. At the mining site, they have 1,000 people. In the past, they didn't have anything like that. So it's revenue that is coming to the state, it's education that is coming to the people, and they are training the people. They actually took some of these technicians and the engineers to China to train them before they brought them to come and work for their factory. So that is on one hand. Now, the next one that you are seeing is whatever kind of CSR are they given? Or let me go back actually to the processes that I told you. Process number 1 to mine, Process number 2 to produce the condensate. Process number 3 is to produce what you call the carbonate. It is from the carbonate now that you can sell to companies like Tesla that make electric vehicles. You can sell to companies that make the batteries, and things like that, like the electronic companies and the rest of that. And you can sell also for the solar panels, the production. It is all from the carbonate, not from the concentrate. So now it takes you to the next one. So what do we do next? We have to attract other companies that will come into Nigeria to be able to do that. One of the greatest achievements we had that day for this company to be there, one of the biggest players in the industry, the chairman of CanMax Technologies is the biggest buyer of lithium concentrate worldwide. He visited, he was here. He was taken to see Mr. President. He was at the venue of the event. And because of his excitement, he announced additional $200 million investment for Nasarawa State that day. That's the attraction. That's what we are trying to achieve. By him doing that, we can now begin to invest in the aspect of the production of the carbonates. Now, people are asking, why are you not producing all together? Why are you not doing this? If you produce the carbonates today in Nigeria, who is going to buy it? We don't have the Teslas of the world. We don't have the companies that are actually making electric cars. We don't have the companies. So people in business, don't do it just for the sake of doing it. They will do it for the sake of the business aspect of it. So it is gradual. We have what we never had before. So we have stage 1. The next is going to stage 2. I'm telling you this way because all my life I come back from the private sector and I know how the private sector thinks. They are not just going to take your money and put into something that they know is going to be a problem for them. So those are the stages that we are talking about. So for us, I think the industrialization of even getting the first 2 stages, mining and production of the concentrate, we have achieved something. Next is to attract the companies like CanMax, that was here during the event, and he promised Mr. President that he will come again. And by the way, the same owner of CanMax, a guy called Mr. Pai. Mr. Pai is also the biggest shareholder, single shareholder in a company called CATL. CATL is the biggest battery producer in the world. It's based in China. They produce over 30% of the batteries that are produced worldwide. He's the biggest single shareholder after the Chinese government. So we are now opening the state to begin to see what you can do. But you can't just jump from 0 to 100 overnight. You have to take it one step at a time and to get there. That's how the value chain is achieved.
All right, so certainly be following up that value chain. The other thing is, we talk about ease of doing business in Nigeria, and you won't hear a lot of good news about that, especially when you look at the cost of electricity, or even the supply, apart from the cost, the availability of it. Now, the electricity law in Nigeria has been tweaked to allow state governments to be involved in both the production, the generation, and distribution. Is there steady electricity for these companies and even to attract the ones you're talking about?
Well, that is a challenge, and it's a challenge for Nigeria. And I can take another 1 hour and discuss that with you because I was a member of Division 2020 in the year 2009 when Nigeria was generating 6,000 megawatts of power. We are part of that committee that said by the year 2020 we'll be generating 50,000 megawatts of power. Today we are generating less than what we generated in the year 2009. So that's a different subject altogether. Now, coming back to some of these companies, any company that wants to do serious business, you have to generate your own power today. This company that we just finished commissioning, they are actually generating their own power for now, but eventually it is for us to generate power from gas. I work for the Dangote Group. In the Dangote Group, in the Dangote Sugar Refinery, the company that I was the CEO, we were generating our power. In Obajana and Ibeshe, they are generating their own power. But then the conversion to start generating power through gas is one of the utilization that Nigeria is looking forward to. So, but if you are saying it is the national grid that a company has to rely upon, in Nigeria, today, then that company is not serious about production because you cannot. So even this company we commission right now, as I told you, they are generating about 20 megawatts of power captive. It is their own generation. It's not from the national grid. So these are the realities, and these are some of the reasons why our cost of production in Nigeria is high. But I mean, you don't have a second option. You just have to do what you have to do.
But I mean, I know you're very big, Mr. Governor, on industrialization. Is the state, apart from, these companies generating them, is the state doing anything to maximize, the now opportunity that has been opened to states when it comes to generation and distribution of electricity?
Last week, you will see that I was with the Minister of Water Resources. When we came in, I visited a place called Farinrua. Farinrua is a waterfall in Wamba local government area. When I was informed about the prospects of power generation in the area, which started from the era of our first executive governor, Abdullah Adamu Turaki Kefi, I visited the area. I came to realize some of the challenges the area was having. Number one was road. So we awarded the contract and constructed the road. It used to take close to 1.5 to 2 hours, to travel that 18 kilometers. So we constructed the road. Today we have the road. You go in less than 20 minutes. So federal government now awarded the contract for the construction of the dam. Since during the President Buhari's era, administration, they have not been able to complete it. Our aim as a state, and I think you will hear from the visit when I visited the minister last week, our aim is for us as a state to be able to actually generate hydropower. Even if it is going to be the 20 megawatts power, 20 megawatts is more than enough for Nasarawa State. Nasarawa State is not a fully industrialized state that will be looking for anything more than 20 megawatts. But when we came before generation, when we came in 2019, we realized that the 330 MV line came all the way to Lafia, and it was not completed. So we worked very hard to ensure that one also with the Niger Delta Development Power Holding Company, was also generated. So it was commissioned by President Buhari about 2 years ago. But it goes back to the same problem. It's been completed, but there is no enough power coming into it to supply us. So all the celebration, all the excitement, all the hard work is now retarded. Even though it's supposed to be a gas-powered line, and Nigeria should not have a problem with gas. Because Nigeria is a gas country that has oil. It's not an oil country that has gas. It's the other way around. Yet we're having problem even generating power from gas turbines. But these are parts of the challenges, I think, that this administration is facing. So the country has lots of challenges, and power generation is one of them. And it shouldn't be, because if we can generate power hydro, we can generate power gas. But there is also solar power generation. But you see, all these things are there. But when you say the effort for Nasarawa State, the effort for us is to be able to generate 20 megawatts of power at the dam. But the dam has been, the contract has been given, yet it's not been completed.
A lot of hiccup right there. But, I mean, let's look at other states. We're drilling in on Nasarawa State. Of course, we have in every state in Nigeria, there is a potential. There's solid mineral, there's agriculture. You are a governor. Sometimes we on the other side are curious that why does it seem like governors or government, state government, are not making use of the potentials they have in their states? They have agriculture. Before oil came to Nigeria, before governors could go to Abuja, for FARC every month, we were surviving and doing very well. Why does it look like the governors are not looking inwards?
Well, the governors are waking up. Let me put it to you that way. I was part of the meeting of the northern governors that we just had in Kaduna last week. And during the meeting, the week before last, and during the meeting, these are the same issues discussed. We took a lot of time discussing some of these issues. Why are we not taking that? Let even every state say that in the north. And that is very easy for any state in the north to say, we are going to clear 5,000 to 10,000 hectares of land, and we are going to plant whatever crop of your own choice and feed your people. With 10,000 hectares of land, you can easily, employ anywhere between 15 to 20,000 people to work in the farm. And you can feed the state. You can export the food, whatever crop it is that you are doing. So those were the honest truth we told each other. Forget about the politics. Forget about saying, I am clearing 500 hectares. I'm clearing, there is no forget about that. Let's be honest and say, how much can you do? Pick it up from there. If it is solid minerals, how much can you do solid minerals? If it is, what do you call it, oil and gas, how much of the oil and gas are you participating? So these are the challenges. I think we faced them. Everybody came out excited. Whether the excitement would continue to hold or not, well, time will tell. But these are the realities, and that's what some of us in Nasarawa State are taking seriously. We're saying we cannot just be talking and then no results. We have to pick it up from here and say that we are going to achieve something, and this is the direction that we are going.
Yeah, well, as you said, that excitement, we do hope, because we've had these conversations year in, year out. But your summit starts in 2 days. You're gathering the world to talk about the economy of Nasarawa State. Should we expect deals to be signed? Like I've seen or heard of some summits where at the end there are deals that are signed that will be used for action after that, so it doesn't just end with conversations?
Thank you very much. It will definitely not involve conversations. And that's the reason why, in fact, I was making some notes when you are doing that, because I think for us, we have to be serious about that. For us in Nasarawa State, we had the same summit in the year 2022. So in the year 2022, we signed some agreements with some of the companies that were coming. Some of them didn't materialize, but some of them did. Let us start with the mining that I mentioned. With the mining, what we just finished discussing with you is as a result of the discussion that we had at the last summit when we invited them. Again, the company called Asgard Lithium processing plant, which I told you I commissioned, that's a 400 metric tons capacity. That was as a result of that last event. There is a company called Greenview CNG. They are building a hub here in Lafayette, purely for CNG and LPG. We signed the agreement. It's been completed. We are going to commission that also this month. Then a company called Saro Africa. Saro Africa came and is going to be in the area of agriculture for them to produce ethanol. In fact, they funded part of the last summit we had because they were very interested in ensuring that they come into Nasarawa Stadium there. So they funded. And today, they are carrying out their sensitization, and they are paid. We have identified people that will be paid. So they are going to produce ethanol from sugarcane. So they are already present in Edo State. They are producing ethanol from cassava in Edo. They want to produce ethanol from sugarcane in Nasarawa State. And we signed that agreement with them. A company called ABG Gas is also setting up a conversion center. They are already in the construction aspect. And of course, you heard about the technology village, which was commissioned recently. That is in housing. So in housing, we have 2 major projects that we have signed with them, and they are also here. One of them is being done in phases, and that is the Nasarawa Technology Village, which is a PPP arrangement with the state government. It's a 100 hectares area, and they are building roughly about 4,000 houses closer to Abuja so that we can benefit from the insufficient housing in Abuja. So we have commissioned the first 300 houses, and they are now constructing another 1,000 houses that we are doing, and then the technology hub itself.
A whole lot there, Governor. A whole lot that you have there. Well, I guess I need to ask more, but time will tell when we see, the manifestation of all of that. And my sincere, heartfelt prayer is that other states' governments will be challenged and not allow Nasarawa State take all the revenue, but they'll also be challenged to take up some of these steps so that we see states generating revenue. I think that will really bring a lot of ease to the people.
You are invited to come and invest in Nasarawa State, especially in housing also. That will be nice.
All right, Engineer Bilai Sule, thank you so much, Executive Governor of Nasarawa State.
Thank you.
All right, now we just have less than a minute to go to give you the market numbers from last week. The All-Share Index closed in the red again I suppose we should get used to this number at this time. We heard there how commercial lending to state governments has reduced because state governments are heading, governments generally, not state government. The government generally, the 3 tiers of government are heading to the fixed income market, making the yields attractive, and so we see investors leaving the NGX to the fixed income market. So last week again, the NGX was down 1.36% and still struggling around 55 trillion naira, 55.56 trillion naira is what we see. Even though the activity chart was in green, banking, the most liquid sector, was in red, 0.07%. Consumer goods as well, more than 1%. Industrial goods just managed to have that green color, 0.07%. Insurance, oil and gas closed in the red. We'll give you updates on the market numbers at 1 p.m. Ladi Williams will be here along with Aniete Edet. So you have a whole lot coming to you at 1 p.m. during Business Incorporated. I'm John McQuarrie. Let's head back to the Sunrise Daily Studios.